All right, so boys and girls, we're gonna go over your actual chapter 2 math exam. So this is going to be the exam that you're gonna do with your families starting today. And once again, I had changed it on our Google Classroom because initially it was supposed to be due later today this evening at 6 p.m. However, I changed that and I decided that it'll be due tomorrow instead. So tomorrow by 12 o'clock, I do need it. So please make sure you complete it, and then moms and dads, they will upload it to the Google Classroom as they usually do. They take a picture and they send it in. So I'm gonna go over the questions with you just so you know what to expect, and then you will be able to work on it on your own. So let me get my copy. So the first question says, count the counters in each set. So you're looking at the first group on the left-hand side. Then it says to mark under the set that has a number of counters that is greater than the set that's at the beginning of the row. So they give you 4 choices. When we were practicing in our books, we only had to look at 3. So your job, boys and girls, is to look for one group of counters that's greater than what you counted at the beginning of the row. Okay? Number 2, mark under the set, that means you bubble in the circle, that has a number of counters that is less than the number of counters at the beginning of the row. So you look at the first set of circles, those are the counters that they want you to count first. They give you 4 choices. Only one of them is correct. You have to look for the group that has less than what you counted at the beginning, and that's the choice that you bubble in. Next question, number 3. They are asking for you to mark under the number that is greater than the number of kites at the beginning of the row. So you count the kites, and then you bubble in the number that's greater than what you have when you counted the kites. Okay? Number 4, mark under the set that shows the same number of feathers as the number of birds at the beginning of the row. So you count the birds, and then you look for the same number of feathers like how you counted the birds. Question 5. Mark under the set that has a number of tennis balls that is less than the number of rackets at the beginning of the row. So first you count the rackets, and then you look for a group of tennis balls that's less than the rackets. Number 6, mark under the set that has a number of dogs that is greater than the number of ducks at the beginning of the row. So first you count the ducks, then you count each group of dogs, and then you have to bubble in the group of dogs that's greater than the ducks. Number 7, mark under the set that has a number of boats that is less than the number of boats at the beginning of the row. So first you count the boats that are at the beginning, then you count your choices. So you have 4 choices to pick from. Count all of them, and then you bubble in the boats that show less than what you counted first. Number 8, count the cubes. Mark under the number that is greater than the number of cubes at the beginning of the row. So you count the cubes first. You can even label them. So I know that the pictures are really teeny tiny, but if you feel like you need to label them, you can label them. And then you have to bubble in the number that's greater than the number of cubes that you counted. Okay? Next page, number 9. Write a number that is less than the number of leaves at the beginning of the row. So they give you some leaves. You have to count those leaves. And then on the line, you have to write a number that's less from what you counted at the beginning of these leaves. Number 10, count the scooters. Draw to show a set of counters that is greater than the number of scooters at the beginning of the row. So you count the scooters first. However much you counted of the scooters, you have to make more than what you counted for the scooters. Number 11, draw to show a set of counters that is the same as the number of rubber ducks at the beginning of the row. So simply count your rubber ducks, and then you're going to draw that same number in the white space to show how many ducks you have. So when they say draw counters, you're just going to draw circles. You could draw the circle and then you can label it to show how much you have. Number 12, and then we're halfway done with the math test. Number 12, they want you to write a number that is the same as the number of stars at the beginning of the row. So here, all you got to do is count the stars and then write on the line how many stars you have. Number 13, with the bumblebees. Count the bees. Draw to show a set of counters that has the same number as the number of bees at the beginning of the row. So count all the bees. In the white space, you're going to illustrate the same number of bees that you counted at the beginning. So all you have to do is just draw circles and label it to show how many bees you counted. Number 14, count the counters. Draw a set of counters to show one greater than the number of counters at the beginning of the row. So you have to count how many counters, how many circles are in the beginning of the row, and they want you to count one more, and then you're going to illustrate that in the white space there. Number 15, write a number that is less than the number of counters at the beginning of the row. So you count the counters, but they want you to give the number that's one less. So you count the counters, but then you count one less, and then that's the number that you write on the line. Number 16, and then we are almost finished. Write a number that is less than the number of turtles at the beginning of the row. So you count the turtles, and then you think of what is a number that's less than what you counted with the turtles, and you write that number on the line. Now, number 17. The instructions for number 17 are on the back page. I'm going to break it down for you. So let me show you that screen. I'm going to read from here. So here for number 17, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So they want you to work first in the top section. Show 4 red counters. So you illustrate 4 circles and you color them red. Then you write the number on the line. Then they want you, right underneath, they want your children to show a number that's less than the red counters. So if they illustrated 4 red counters, they have to think of a number that's less than 4, and then they illustrate it right below. They color it yellow, and then they write the number on the line. Then the next step that they want you to do they want you to match. So when you match, that means that you're connecting one red to one yellow, because if you look down below on the back, in order for your child to score, the highest score for that question would be a 2. So it's showing that they will get credit if they use counting or matching to compare sets of numbers. So when we match, we're connecting one set to another set by drawing lines. Then the next part, in order for them to get credit, they identify the set that is lesser, that's the lesser number of counters, and then they also identify sets with the same number of counters. Okay, so let's go back to the work. So at the top, they're illustrating 4 red counters, writing the number 4. On the bottom, they have to think of a number that's less than 4. They illustrate it, they color it yellow, and they write that number. Then they match it by drawing lines connecting from a red to a yellow. Now, for the bottom the bottom part. Down here, they're making two sets with the same number. So let's say, for example, they were to pick the number 3. They would illustrate 3 circles on top, 3 circles on the bottom. They would write the numbers on the lines. They would match by connecting one red to one yellow. So the bottom part of this exam, it has to be the same number. But on top, they want 4 red on top, and then they have to think of a number that's less than 4. Okay? And then that's it. They don't want the children to circle any numbers. I know usually when we did the work, we would sometimes circle the number that's greater, the number that's less. But here, they're not circling any number. Okay? So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I will be available on Class Dojo. Just let me know whatever you need help with, but that's pretty much the Chapter 2 math exam.